For days. Just 4 days were enough to turn Alex Eala from a rising talent into one of the biggest stories in women's tennis. And then, only a few days later, came a result that seemed to bring everyone back down to earth. A first-round loss in Bad Homburg. For many people, the headline was simple. Alex Eala loses. The dream run is over. The momentum is gone. But tennis is rarely that simple. Because if you only look at the scoreboard, you're missing the most important part of the story. What happened in Bad Homburg wasn't a collapse. It wasn't proof that Berlin was a fluke. And it certainly wasn't a sign that Alex Eala suddenly stopped being one of the most exciting young players in the sport. In reality, it may have revealed just how far she has already come. To understand that, we have to go back to Berlin. Before that tournament, Alex was already earning respect inside tennis circles. Coaches knew her talent. Players knew her potential. Fans who followed the WTA closely knew she was improving rapidly. But there is a major difference between being respected and being feared. Berlin changed that. The grass court season is one of the toughest stretches on the tennis calendar. Everything happens faster. The points are shorter. The reactions need to be sharper. And mistakes are punished immediately. Young players often struggle because there is very little time to recover when things start going wrong. Yet Alex looked completely comfortable. Match after match, she stepped onto the court against players with far more experience. Players who had won major titles. Players who had spent years competing at the highest level. Players who were expected to beat her. And somehow, Alex kept finding answers. She wasn't surviving. She wasn't getting lucky. She was winning. More importantly, she was winning with authority. Her movement was confident. Her shot-making was fearless. Her aggression never disappeared, even during the biggest moments. The tennis world took notice. Suddenly, conversations that had once been quiet became impossible to ignore. Analysts started discussing her future. Fans started talking about deep runs at major tournaments. Even opponents began looking at her differently. The reason was simple. Alex had proven she could beat elite competition. Not once, not twice, but repeatedly. That kind of breakthrough changes everything. However, success in professional tennis comes with challenges that fans often don't see. The deeper you go in a tournament, the less time you have to recover. The more attention you receive. The more interviews you do. The more pressure follows you. Every victory creates new expectations. And every expectation carries a cost. For young players, learning how to manage that reality can be just as difficult as winning matches. Berlin was incredible, but it demanded a tremendous amount of physical and emotional energy. Every point mattered. Every match required maximum focus. Every victory pushed Alex further into the spotlight. Then came the quick turnaround. Bad Homburg. A new city. A new tournament. A new challenge. And waiting on the other side of the net was Elise Mertens. If you've watched tennis for years, you understand exactly how dangerous Mertens can be. She may not always receive the same attention as some of the sport's biggest stars, but she has built a career on consistency, intelligence, and discipline. She understands how to expose weaknesses. She understands how to frustrate aggressive players. And perhaps most importantly, she understands how to recognize when an opponent isn't operating at 100%. From the opening stages of the match, something felt different. Alex wasn't playing poorly. Far from it. The power was still there. The athleticism was still there. The confidence was still there. But the sharpness that had defined her Berlin run wasn't quite the same. Sometimes the difference between winning and losing at the highest level is incredibly small. A slightly slower reaction. A slightly mistimed forehand. A slightly shorter recovery between points. Against an experienced player like Mertens, those tiny differences become huge. Mertens immediately settled into her rhythm. She forced longer rallies. She changed directions. She refused to give Alex easy opportunities to dictate. Every point became a battle. Every rally became a test of patience. And that is exactly where Mertens is most dangerous. She doesn't need spectacular winners. She doesn't need flashy highlights. She simply asks difficult questions over and over again until opponents struggle to find answers. Alex continued to fight. That deserves to be emphasized. She never stopped competing. She never stopped trying to take control. She never looked mentally defeated. But tennis can be cruel. Sometimes effort isn't enough. Sometimes determination isn't enough. Sometimes you're facing an opponent whose style perfectly matches the challenges you're already dealing with. That was the reality in Bad Homburg. Mertens executed her game plan brilliantly. Alex fought until the end. But the result belonged to the veteran. As soon as the match ended, the reactions began. Some people focused entirely on the loss. Others wondered whether the Berlin run had created unrealistic expectations. A few even questioned whether the hype had arrived too quickly. But those reactions ignore a much larger truth. A few weeks ago, Alex Eala losing in the first round wouldn't have been major news. Today, it becomes an international story. Think about that for a moment. The attention surrounding this loss exists because of everything she achieved before it. People care because she forced them to care. People are paying attention because she earned their attention. That is one of the clearest signs that a player has arrived. The scrutiny that follows success is often uncomfortable, but it is also proof of relevance. And Alex is now more relevant than ever. The next destination is Wimbledon, the most famous tournament in tennis. The stage every player dreams about. The place where careers can change forever. This time, Alex won't arrive as an unknown name. She won't arrive as a player hoping to surprise people. She won't arrive as someone hidden beneath the radar. She will arrive carrying expectations. She will arrive carrying belief. She will arrive knowing that she has already defeated some of the best grass court players in the world. That confidence matters. Because there is a difference between imagining success and experiencing it. Alex has experienced it. She knows what it feels like. She knows she belongs. That knowledge cannot be taken away by a single defeat. In many ways, the biggest victory from Berlin wasn't a trophy. It wasn't ranking points. It wasn't headlines. It was certainty. The certainty that she can compete with anyone. The certainty that her game works at the highest level. The certainty that she deserves to stand on the biggest stages in the sport. Young players spend years searching for that feeling. Alex found it in one unforgettable week. Now comes the next challenge. Can she build on it? Can she continue evolving? Can she handle the pressure that comes with success? Those questions are impossible to answer right now. And that's exactly why her story has become so compelling. Because we are no longer talking about potential. We are talking about possibility. Real possibility. The possibility of deep runs at major tournaments. The possibility of victories against elite players. The possibility of becoming one of the biggest names in the sport. Maybe Berlin was the beginning of something special. Maybe it was only the first chapter of a much larger story. Nobody knows for sure. Not the fans. Not the media. Not even Alex herself. But that's what makes this journey so exciting. The uncertainty. The anticipation. The feeling that something important may be unfolding right in front of us. As Wimbledon approaches, one question continues to grow louder. How good can Alex Eala actually become? And for the first time, the answer feels like it could be far greater than anyone ever expected. Because what makes Alex Eala so intriguing right now isn't just the victories she's collected. It's the way she's collecting them. There are plenty of young players who can hit powerful shots. There are plenty of players who can produce one incredible tournament run. But very few young players possess the combination of courage, composure, and belief that Alex has shown during the biggest moments of her career. When the pressure rises, she doesn't seem to shrink. She attacks. She trusts her game. And that's one of the hardest qualities to teach in professional tennis. You can improve a serve. You can strengthen a backhand. You can spend countless hours working on fitness and movement. But genuine belief? That usually comes from experience. It comes from surviving difficult moments. It comes from proving to yourself that you belong. And Alex is building that proof with every major match she plays. What's even more exciting is that her game is still developing. This isn't the finished version of Alex Eala. Far from it. She's still learning how to manage different surfaces. She's still gaining experience against elite competition. She's still discovering new ways to handle pressure. And yet, despite all of that, she's already producing results that are forcing the tennis world to pay attention. Imagine what happens when those pieces fully come together. Imagine what happens when the experience catches up with the talent. That's the possibility that has fans excited. Because every great champion has a moment when the world first realizes they're capable of something special. For some players, that moment comes at a Grand Slam. For others, it happens quietly during a breakthrough tournament that suddenly changes everything. Berlin may have been that moment for Alex. Not because she won a title. Not because she became world number one overnight.